Bacon, no bacon, no bacon, no bacon,
Bacon, no bacon.
Podcast.
Yeah, it's just weird how it...
Yay for us.
Yay for us. What happened?
What?
Are we starting right now?
Only 25 minutes late today. This is fucking... It's like being early.
We are... Everything went swimmingly today. But nobody needs to hear about our technical difficulties, Derek. Are you recording on your audio Zoom?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
Are you?
I am.
Is more the question?
And I'm
You're
recording the
one
proper video this time. Sorry about last episode. That is all my fault. I didn't have the proper video recording, and now it's all set up. But we're learning. I think by episode 50 we'll have it nailed down. Shit. We've got it nailed down.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Abdul. Hey, chers téléspectateurs and écouteurs. Welcome to Bacon No Bacon with Abdul Butt and Derek Senge, brought to you by the Comedy Here Often Network. Comedy Here Often. Everything comedy in Canada in one place.
I love how you're sticking to that slogan, even though they've told us repeatedly we will get sued if we keep using it. It's not their slogan.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't get the email?
No.
They're not going to sue
Comedy
us.
Here Often. Comedy Here Often.
Comedy Here Often.
Point final.
I like how you still plug them, even though I'm like, they might sue us. You're like, oh, well. Let's help their brand.
Comedy Here Often. I have neutral feelings about them.
That's great. How's everything going, Derek Sege?
So how was your... I'm doing okay. I have, for myself, before I get to start be verbal diarrheaing, I have a lot for people that have been. We've been doing this over a year now. This podcast.
Congratulations!
And for people that have been, congratulations to you too. You've put up with me for yet another year. Good for you.
Cheers.
You are a saint. Oh yeah, we could cheers at the bacon no bacon style.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, I lost it in the green screen.
Yeah, man. So what's new?
Before I get started, because I have for people that have been following us since the beginning. I have a lot of things. I have a lot of things that will be about things that we talked about in the past. I have Camry news. I have like renovation completion news and stuff. I'm wearing a blue shirt. I don't know if you can see that.
You can see it.
So before I get into my shit, how are you, Abdul? How was your week? What did you get up to this week? You seem to be busy anytime I talk to you.
Good, man. So. Things are okay. Taking care of the folks a little bit, I think. Old man and his knee. He's back home now and running around getting stuff.
It was a success.
What's that? We had 2 unexpected clogs.
Abdul's dad had knee surgery. Abdul's dad had knee surgery?
Yes, he had knee surgery.
Was it a success?
It's a success. He came home after 4 days in the hospital, or 3 days in the hospital. And 3 days in the hospital. It's pretty brutal. And they put him in brutal. I mean, it's okay, but they put him in he had a room. It was shared room, which is a little bit stressful during times like these, I think. But everything turned out okay. Back in the
days when you were on 22 minutes. When you were on 22 minutes, I bet your dad would have had a private room.
No, we tried. We asked. There's no more private. They keep private rooms for COVID patients.
Oh, motherfucker. COVID strikes again.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now. We asked if he can get a private room, but that's their policy now. It's a lot harder to find one because of COVID. So, yeah, buddy, healthcare's a little bit dicey these days.
Dicey?
Very dicey.
Hey, dicey. We both came up with dicey at the same time.
Yeah, I know. It's different. It's not the same as it used to be. You got to go in. You only allowed an hour even to visit them. There was only like a half hour at a time, maximum one person. It's a whole ordeal. They got to check in. You give them your name, your phone number, your address. They give you a wristband so that every time you come back to visit the next day, you can just come in with the wristband and they got your number. So yeah, it's quite times have changed, man. In the last year, things have changed. I think it'll kind of be like that for a long time, the way they're set up.
And like somebody your age was to do knee surgery, would they also be stayed in for 3 or 4 days, or is it because your dad's age? I don't know.
I think they probably keep you as well because they want to make sure your mobility is good, make sure that you're able to move and walk, and it's like they installed it properly, I guess. They want to make sure of everything.
It's not like a worry about blood clots or anything like that because he's older.
No, I think it's probably more a mobility thing. Usually when they do a surgery, they like that. They open you up and do some stuff. I know when I had my lung surgery, they still kept me for a few days after to make sure everything was good, take some x-rays.
Well, fuck. Lung surgery, I don't know, not to dismiss the agony your dad is probably going to be going through, but I think lung surgery sounds much more dire and serious.
But I think it's a question of like anything where they're dealing with like the inside of your body that they've done some major shifting, like a lot of move around.
Yeah.
I feel like they probably would want to keep you to. I don't know. I didn't ask, but
did they add any parts?
They changed his knee.
A pishnut orthopedic.
There's no
that they used?
pishnut. Everything hopefully was functioning when they put it in. They didn't need to super glue a pishnut on there. I think everything went well. It was good. And then we had some unexpected clogged sinks that just happened. We had 2 of them in 1 week.
In your house, in your apartment,
in the house,
building?
the whole building, yeah. So first we had ours upstairs with the sink in the kitchen, and then they had their bathroom. I had to, I had 2. Actually, no, 3. I had the kitchen sink, our bathroom sink, and their bathroom sink that eventually.
That sounds like a main drain issue.
No, it was just the bathroom sink was Carolyn dropped her floss thing in the sink and there was no blocker because I had one of those. Remember, those old ones that this is all not information people give a shit about.
That you pulled the thing and it goes
but
up
they
and
always
down?
fuck up and they clog. So I unscrewed it and I took it off.
And you rip them
so
out.
now it's just an
all
open.
my sinks.
Yeah, it's just an open hole. So she dropped like a floss thing down there, and I was like, man. So I went to just open the bottom tube just to loosen the screw, and I as soon as I just put the wrench on it, it just snapped because it's those shit
fuck.
they make it. It's all garbage.
Plastic used. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
it's a metal, but it's so thin, man, like paper thin. I don't even know if it's brass or copper. Even it's probably some cheap garbage. It just snapped, so I had to go get another one and install it and fix it up. So just like a 2-second thing I thought was going to be, I had to run to the store and it always screws up your day. And then you got home ownership. You got the, when people, that's the thing with now, I feel like the craze, because the real estate is so, the interest rates are so low that everybody's like going, don't pay rent. You should buy a place. Now's the time. I don't know if people understand all these people that like have rented forever and now they're buying houses. Just to call a plumber to do that. I don't know. Any plumbers on here? Let's see what your price is for like a job to do something like that. What do you think?
Like my buddy Dave, the fireman. He does some plumbing on the side. I probably shouldn't say that. Oh well. But I think it's he won't even show up for less than like it's $250.
Yeah. We called. Well, my dad called because he was starting to feel bad. I'm like, don't worry, I'm gonna do it. It's just because I had to leave everything I was doing.
I've got the time.
So I was actually in the middle of something, but he was like, let me call and see how much and they're like $200 just to come. And he's like, yeah, you know what? My son could do it. He's like, thanks for trying to save me time. But yeah.
Oh, dude, every time. That's how I end up in most of my projects. See, it's just you go to do one little thing.
And it ends up,
I have a whole joke about it. Before I even got really into the DIY and the reno and all that, I have a joke about where I just dropped my lighter under the fridge and then couldn't reach it, so I pulled out the fridge to get it. Now I'm on a fucking like a full day project of cleaning behind the fridge, disinfecting, scraping off a fucking inch thick of gray mousse.
Yeah, it's
all I wanted to do was pick up a fucking lighter. Nope. Now I'm wearing a hazmat suit, Carlos.
You found a hole in the wall. Maybe there's some rodents coming in through there. Now you got to plug it.
Yeah.
There's always something, dude. It never stops. It's pretty crazy to like...
Reese's room started with, going to put his laundry away. And I'm like, there's nowhere to put anything in this fucking dump. That's it. I'm making a fucking... And it took me a month to finish Reese's room.
Well, yeah, that's it, man. It takes time. But again, it's if you like doing it. If you like doing it, then it feels like an accomplishment at the end. And you're like, yes, I've saved thousands of dollars. As opposed to people who...
I don't even know. People were commenting, like, as I was sharing the progress I was making in Reese's room. I'm in well over $2,500.
Oh no,
you
you definitely wasted more money than you could have just bought a bed.
But imagine the labor, a month's worth of labor. But like people were sending me things like, "Hey, look at what I saw on special at IKEA this week. It's a bed with fucking like 12 drawers in it, $899."
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
That's what I was telling you. That's what I told you the other day when we were podcasting, and I looked it up on IKEA. Like you can get the real wood ones for like that price, you know, and it's all real wood and it's all pre-done. You just build it and it's done, and you didn't spend a month and $2,500.
Yeah, well, you know, this one is
it's okay. You got to do it.
It's $2,500, but in that there's I bought some tools.
Yeah.
There's some tools that I bought in there. There's extra pieces. Chris, I have so much extra. I have every quincaillerie that you could want, except obviously the one thing that I needed there at the end. You know the kind of screw that you used to put on handles for drawers and
like a finishing screw,
they're
like
flat, like they're like metal screws, whatever. They're not pointy, but they're just,
not a finishing screw. But I know what you mean.
I bought 2 boxes because I'm like, la merde, I'm gonna have them because I was just going through buckets of screws to try to find one.
Yeah.
And I bought the wrong size, so now I have 2 full boxes of 180 pieces that listen, they're gonna be here till I die, and they turned out to not even be the right one.
Oh God.
So, but I have like all kind of bracket, like T bracket, L bracket, the corner brackets. I have them coming out the wazoo.
Are you?
So anyway, all to say, $2,500 too. But at IKEA, you know, you live with the size and configuration that you want. This thing that I built for him, it's sur mesure.
Custom,
Everything's custom made for the size. Like the desk is this close to the headboard. The headboard, it's attached to the bed basically. Right. Although I was gonna bolt them together, instead I bolted the headboard to the wall, and I didn't connect the headboard to the bed because it's wood. It was wood on wood, so I had to put those. Oh, I also bought. Those little felt things that you stick to the bottom of a chair.
You bought an industrial quantity,
a little beige with a. Dude, industrial quantity. I have that for sure. Well beyond Reese's grandchildren will be still using this felt.
Why did you buy so much felt? No wonder.
It was like every size, like squares, rectangles, fucking big circles, small circles, medium circles.
Did you buy it at Costco?
And then
yeah, because I got one of those. But that's great. You'll need it. Like you go through that so much.
But here's the thing: we're gonna go through the same one. They give you they give you like industrial quantity of the size that you'll never fucking use. You know, like I got like 36 fucking losange shape fucking felts and like 8 circles that I could put under a chair.
Yeah, but you can cut them.
I'm gonna end up having they gave us 3 full square sheets like that of just you can cut to whatever shape you need. But what was cool is that I didn't even notice in the bottom of it there was just like really thin felt, like it's black. It's not. And I took those full sheets. And remember I said I put the bed that have that mechanism that go up like that you could lift in storage underneath. Well, once I put the mattress on and everything, I guess the weight or I don't know, like the shifting, because I push it around, clean mop underneath before I put the bed in its place. Well, it shifted to the point where now the steel hingey things, the hydraulic, were rubbing. And also because I stained and varnished the bed.
Okay.
So now it's, it makes a finish. So now the steel up against a finished wood, every time you would get on the bed, it would go, the steel rubbing on the wood, So I put a little thin layer of felt in between the hinge thing
using the felt.
bed, and now it's quiet. So if Reese ever finds a girlfriend in his life, we won't have to listen to him fucking.
If he finds a girlfriend in his life.
If he finds a girlfriend, she'd have to be athletic. She'd have to be like a gymnast, because I can't even get up on the bed. Now that the mattress is on it, I need a boost.
That's
I need
hilarious.
somebody to boost me up onto the bed.
So did you not take that into account when you made it and how high it would be with the mattress? Or did you know it would be so high?
I did, but it's hard to simulate jumping up onto I can get up there if I take a
leap?
a 2 or 3 step fucking
2 or 3 steps. Yeah, that's normal. That's what you want to do every night when you go to bed. just want to.
He's taller than me, and he's also
want a
younger
pole
and more
vault.
spry. But I'm gonna build him a step. I'm gonna build him a step.
You're gonna build him a step to get up. I knew
Yeah.
you. I knew it was only a matter of time you put a deck in that kid's room. I knew it. It's
Dude, that I'm not even kidding. The bed, because it's queen size bed,
Yeah.
and it's about 2 inches wider and 2 inches longer than standard queen size bed because the frame, whatever, and you want the mattress to have clearance on all sides.
yeah.
It's bigger than a lot of people's deck. If you live in an apartment, you just have that one little sort of patio outside your patio
Yeah.
door there. It's bigger than that.
Okay.
His bed is bigger than that.
Yeah.
The only bitch of it is now that the mattress is on it, you can't stand up on it. He's that close to the ceiling.
Oh,
Like
God.
I stood up on it before we had the mattress, and I was joking when I'm like, "Oh, we could jump on your bed," and I fucking smoked my head right into the ceiling.
Oh, that hurt.
And now that the mattress is on it, it's a foot closer, so you literally cannot stand up.
Well,
on the
I don't know
bed.
why you'd be standing up on the bed, especially at his age. I think you should just be lying in the bed and going to sleep at night. You're not a child. He shouldn't be jumping up and down on the bed. So I think you should be good with the height. I think, you might have to build a ladder or a deck for him to get up to it. Maybe a multi-tiered deck.
Yeah, not a lot. Just one step. It's just I need a step like 1 foot off the ground. That'll make it very easy to. Basically brings it back down to a regular level of bed because obviously I didn't put a box spring, right? It's just the mattress right on the
Yeah,
platform.
well, you built it. Yeah, you built the box spring.
So it's just
basically what it is.
it's about 18 inches taller than your standard.
Yeah,
bed.
that's cool. Is he happy?
I'm anxious for you to come see. There's definitely some flaws that come from being a non-professional carpenter, like the drawers.
Don't give it away, man.
drawer
You're going to lower
sort
the
of-
value on your house.
No, I mean this is a mistake made by a physics error made by Derek Seguin. Look at this; it's worth.
It's
fortune.
worth more. And I'll sign it, too.
I forgot to sign my work. You're right. I have to go in there and autograph that.
Autograph the error from Derek Seguin. Date it and autograph it.
But the drawers all open smooth. But I mean, again, it was a custom made job,
Yeah.
and I'm not a professional carpenter. So I built the desk and I built the bed, and then when I went to put the desk in its place, I go to open the drawer of the bed, and fucking katonk, I'm hitting the leg of the calice, the desk. I'm like, sacrament calice. Now I have to take the whole desk apart, reconfigure where and how I put the legs on.
Yeah. Fuck.
So now
What a
also
hell
the
of-
desk, because the wood warp.
So-
my God, I can't.
What?
You can't believe how much wood warps, especially like it's pine, right? I'm not using oak,
After you
whatever.
stained it?
But just by staining it, the moisture from just stain.
Yeah.
I have the desk. Now you put a pencil on the desk and it rolls off because the wood warp on one side, it warped like that. So I had clamps down trying to fix it. And I was so proud of myself because, again, I'm not a pro, but I'm just using, again, it's the whole, you approach these projects with, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm just going to figure it out. So I don't know if you saw, I built them like on the headboard. There's like a big square like that that's
there you go.
like that
Losing you on the...
It opens
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
on the video. Oh yeah,
The
because
green screen, we're losing you.
Yeah. So the door opened like zook, zook, like that.
Yeah.
So I stained it,
Up.
and then I come back in the next day. And it's got locking
Little clips,
sort
yeah.
of hinges, whatever that holds it up like that. I come back in the next day though, it's not closing anymore. It just staining it made the
How
thing
much did
warp
you
like this.
just slather on the varnish or what? Like, the stain? Did you
No,
like...
I put it. It's a stain and varnish, so you put it on and then you wipe it off, right? So wipe off all the excess. I did a good job. I'm a pretty good painter, but I mean this particular product. Sometimes, anyways,
Yeah.
there's some spots that
Yeah, I
didn't
wonder
wipe
what
it
that
off
is.
soon
Maybe
enough because it started.
Maybe
to dry.
because it's pine itself. Maybe it was soft. It's a softer wood, so it does that.
But this
warps easy.
that was one of. I bought a few pieces that were furniture grade, right? Pretty much all these superficie that you can see. I tried to buy furniture grade, like it's made to be made into something. It's fine.
Right.
It's fine. Fine lumber.
Yeah.
But this, I put the stain on, and it warped. And of course, it warped in the opposite way that would have been helpful. Like as I kind of needed it to help me to clench, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just tried to figure it out. I didn't want to take it all apart because the hinge on it is one of those long, the strip of hinge.
Yeah.
It's like a long strip of, so it's got like fucking 30 30 screws holding it in. If I take that out, the screws are never going to hold anymore, right? Like if you take those kinds of screws out. So I'm like, what can I do? So what I did was, so this is the door. I went behind the door with like tin pieces of wood, like a core.
So behind the door, you put some wood.
Thick.
The people listening are not going to understand what you're
against
saying.
the frame, and I went right on either side. So wood behind, and then I clamped it.
Right.
I clamped it down. So now the board is kind of like it's bent like that because there's a board behind it there, and I clamped it down, and then I wet it. I took water and I wet the whole board, right, on both sides to try to get it warpable. Like that's how they warp wood, right? They wet it, and so I wet the whole thing and clamped it, and then woke up the next day and it stayed.
Oh,
it's perfect.
Good stuff, man.
By itself.
Coffee delivery.
Cheers. Coffee delivery.
Look at that.
A month of building a bedroom gets me 1 free coffee delivery.
That's nice. Perfect. And in the bacon no bacon mug. Very good. Very good. I like it.
It's very apropos.
We're branding here. We're getting better. We're building outwards. We're going to make this whole town a deck. You're funny. I can't wait for your summer projects, man. Just more wood all over the grass. Let's get it all up there. Let's just cover everything.
No,
you were thinking about it, were you not?
I chose Reese's room.
Is that what you're going to...
No, I'm doing the bathroom. I'm going to be gutting my bathroom in the spring.
Very cool.
So soon.
Have you been watching any of the nouvelles? Have you seen the news?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen these China-U.S. talks in Alaska?
No.
Wow, man. Interesting.
What are they talking about?
They're just talking pop culture.
Pop culture?
Yeah, they're talking about...
China and the U.S.?
Yeah, China, U.S.
Like a summit?
Yeah, they're talking about the threat of Korean boy bands to the world and what they bring to both China and the U.S., and I think it's going to be a real hit on their entertainment industry. I think that's why they're really upset. I'm just fucking with you, Derek. It has nothing to do with boy bands in Korea. It's China and the U.S. talking about their trade, their power in the world.
Yeah, well, they're not getting along right now trade-wise.
U.S. and China trade angry words at high-level Alaska talks. They had some pretty crazy things said back and forth to each other, and it sounds like, and it was very weird because I don't know if you noticed, but like last week they had that CDC guide to zombie apocalypse, what to get to prepare, right? They were using they used that as like a sense of they use the zombie apocalypse to appeal to people, to kind of get them talking about it. And then yesterday, I keep seeing ads for the Canadian government, disaster preparedness, to get ready for a disaster. But they don't tell you what disaster we're getting prepared for. They just say there's been 1,000 disasters since the 1900s that Canadians have gone through. And then in brackets, it says excluding any wars. Yeah, so be prepared for anything. That's what they wrote on this. There's a whole Canadian disaster prepared list that they're putting out there in a campaign. And it's pretty, getprepared.gc.ca is this website that they have going on. And it's a little bit weird. And I'm not sure why they're doing it. And it's weird that they're not being open, honest.
It's a little bit ominous.
Like, tell us what's going on here, that you guys are now spamming our Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds with get prepared videos. And
what are you thinking of it? You think it's the China-U.S. talks that are going to de-escalate into fucking war?
Escalate into war, yeah. That's what I think, man. I don't know. I mean,
deteriorate. That's what I was.
Yeah, deteriorate would be the word. Yeah, it's.
I go trying to use fancy words and I fuck it all up.
The exchange, which took place in front of the world's media, went on for more than an hour. It came at the start of 3 sessions, which are due to end on Friday morning. And it's the first high-level meeting between the U.S. and China since last June. But they're not happy, man. There's a lot of...
Was it Joe Biden or
no? It was
like trade.
Yeah, somebody, a representative from the U.S. I don't know his exact position, but I can't find it here now. But there were some words from the Chinese side saying that they are not happy that it sounds like America's just throwing drama threats and they're looking for gunpowder or some shit like that he said. The smell of gunpowder.
You send the wrong guy in. Send the wrong guy in from the U.S. into those talks, and shit can go sideways.
It's a little bit scary to see what's going on, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Hopefully, they figure this stuff out, but it is something to think about. I think people should be talking about it more than anything. It's hilarious that these things are happening, and then you watch the news, and they're like, "Well, let's see what's going on with the weather." And you're like, "Well." Can you focus on what the fucking scrolling thing is underneath your head? What's going on here? Where are we at war?
Well, I read the paper every day, and I didn't even know there was having.
You
a
see what I'm saying? That's what it is. I find the Canadian and U.S. might be a little bit more on it, but the international news is all over it. But they're not talking here. Like in Canada, they're just keeping it quiet. And they're about to like throw guns. They're about to like start firing at each other, and we're just in the middle going, "We've got two white guys named Michael. Can we have them back before you guys start shooting at each other?" We're not even concerned about this. This
and the government tweeting us to stock up on toilet paper and fucking beans.
Yeah, we've got two guys named Mike. A rare commodity over here in Canada. We'd like to have our nearly extinct mics back if we can have them back. Like there isn't enough mics in our country that we're stop shooting each other. Bring back Michael and Michael. It's a weird thing, man. Like everything that's just happening, it's like we're not focusing. Like the news is trying to be like happy-go-lucky about everything, and I feel like there's a lot we should be pretty concerned about. So I don't know if this is going to continue. Hopefully they figure this out. I mean, today's the last day of their meeting. And who knows? We could be in a full-fledged war by Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could be, like another month of brooding on the shit that happened, and then things get worse.
Yeah.
That's scary, man. I didn't need to know that today. God.
Well, look, it's just all things that I think we should all be paying attention to and not being so naive. Like, and I think that's the hard thing about comedy right now is like trying to be like, let's have a good time and laugh. And you're like reading all these things, and it's like, well, I think we should be laughing at how ridiculous this is, but also kind of paying attention to it and like talk like. Our government should know what's, or telling the people what's going on, or we should let them know. Like, we want to hear what the fuck is going on. Like, what are you guys hiding here?
I love how the U.S. picks Alaska as neutral ground.
Right.
That's America.
Yeah, but they've got the comfort of being near Canada. You know, like there's another country that's close by. They're like, we could just scurry off to. In case shit hits a fan, or I don't know. Who knows?
It's literally closer. Alaska is closer to China than it is to Washington D.C.
Dude, I would love to see the whole the fucking cavalcade that they sent to Alaska. Like, do you think they're just sending two guys? No, there's got to be like a warship nearby or something. I imagine. Like, that's what I would like to know.
I think they always keep a warship close by.
Yeah.
To Alaska, there's always some kind of naval presence.
Oh, the U.S. You're saying
that whole area.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking China. Like, what would China do?
Oh yeah,
like, they probably want to protect their people.
They didn't take a fucking Uber, that's for sure. They definitely took some kind of official vehicle.
Yeah, they just hopped in an Uber and made it down from the fucking Alaska airport, whatever it is. That's funny, man. I wonder what it is. Shit. Yeah, what's going on? And
wow, that's a little, that's cause for concern for sure.
Sorry to fucking burst your weekend bubble there, buddy, but...
I just finished a month-long project just to emerge to find the world is at war. What? How did that happen? I'm wearing a blue shirt, for God's sakes. Things were just starting to look brighter.
Well, that's
the other thing. We finished cleaning out Reese's room, and there was a bunch of clothes he didn't want. And I'm like, hey, your clothes fit me. This is great. And he didn't want this shirt.
Oh, nice.
And now I'm wearing a colored shirt for the first time, I think, in 3 years. Because I look at myself, I'm like, fuck, that looks
You look good,
weird.
Man.
I look youthful.
You look good.
I look youthful in my color.
You should wear some
I've been
color.
wearing nothing but black shirts. Yeah. It might be a whole change in my image now.
I think you should start wearing some color. Maybe make yourself feel a little bit more lively. Not like a fucking corpse with your black darkness. Feel a little bit alive, buddy. I know. At least you built a bunker in Reese's room. You guys can hide in baby's bed.
Hide. That's what that hinge is for. Just lift the thing up. Everybody hide under Reese's bed. This is the one thing that won't go anywhere.
Yeah, that thing's built solid. Fuck, you won't be able to take that out. It is cause for concern. I think everything that's just happening in the world is a little bit strange. And then Trudeau left the other day. He didn't want to talk bad about China. The whole House of Commons voted on China. The Uyghur Muslims. I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast about how there's an entire city in China that's under control because it's a predominantly Muslim area. And they're converting them and putting them. Yeah, they're putting them in like camps and taking away their kids, and they're putting them through schools to basically what we did to the natives and the Canadians.
Residential schools. Yeah,
residential schools. And so that's the thing is when you see things like that going on in a country like Canada, who already experienced how bad that was for a population to do, and then when the House of Commons votes on this. And you walk away as the prime minister with all of your close, cabinet leaders, you all leave. You guys go and you don't want to vote on this because you're trying not to, cause higher tensions with China because you're worried about two guys named Mike. It's a little bit, I don't like that shit, and I get that they're Canadians, but what you're doing is if you're not willing to stand up for people in general, then tell me why these two people are so important. Who are these two people? What do you know of them? And if you look at their past, I'd love to know who they are.
I'm not as up on this story as you are, obviously, but
so what Trudeau did is the House.
I feel like you're oversimplifying.
Okay, so what the House?
We're not gonna judge.
I'll explain it to you.
Fucking racism or
it's
whatever.
Not racism, but it's a question of leadership. And I think if you're going to take a stand on a country for doing something that isn't in your country's interest, I think residential schools is a big fucking thing to stand on and say, we've seen it happen and it ain't good. And China, if you're doing it, you probably shouldn't be doing this. It's not hard. I mean, yes, but you don't want to escalate it because he's trying to keep tensions soft with the two countries because he would like the return of two Mikes. So that's what he did. And then the next day,
dude, you see, you keep saying that. You're oversimplifying. It's not. It's not just two mics.
So who is it?
It's not just the two mics.
So what is it, Derek?
Creating tension with the fucking world superpower. It's not just two mics.
So why did they arrest? So why did they arrest the Huawei executive?
I don't know.
Well,
because she was embezzling and fucking.
If you didn't want to cause tension
insider trading
with a superpower like China, then why would you arrest somebody for another country? It's the U.S. that has a problem.
Because she's a national, but that's got nothing to do with. She's also wanted for crimes in China. By the way, if she goes back to China, she's in shit.
No.
Yeah.
She's not.
Yeah.
No, she's not. No, that's why they're arrested. The two Michaels is. That's what they're insinuating is that the two Michaels were arrested as a retaliation for her arrest. So why would they do that? I mean, why would they? They would say, "Great, you got her. Send her over to China. We'd love to persecute her as well." But that's not the case. She didn't do anything. Anyways, we shouldn't get into it. Let's try and be funny. Let's laugh. Let's talk about lumber.
I like. Again, I'm not as well read on this current situation as you are, but I do find that you oversimplify with fucking attacking a guy like Justin Trudeau or our government based on 2 or 3 facts. They have to think about a global repercussion of everything that they do, right? Not just how it affects the country and our people. They got to think about us, but then they got to think about, things are already tense with China. They're a superpower. They hold about 40% of our national debt. Same in the state. Like it's a 100 of different layer of things that they have to take into consideration for every move that they make on.
Okay.
So taking a solid, especially
so
with
then
a country
why would
like
you?
China,
So
communist,
okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
They take a solid stand on something like that. It's like you're suggesting that they should put a sort of ultimatum before China. That's not what you want to do. You gotta. Is there a better way to do it? Probably, but I fear that I don't know. It's not like this podcast matters or anything. It's just two dudes talking. But oversimplifying things, like that's why I don't get into politics, because it's too much. There's so much.
There's
to
a
think
lot of
about,
layers.
and everybody, no matter what you do,
There's a lot of
people
layers.
like us will be like, oh, look at this fucking asshole, all for 2 mics, and that, like I have idiot friends that were like, when we started letting in Syrian refugees, they're letting in all these fucking terrorists. They're not even checking their fucking. I'm like, what? They're not. What do you mean they're not checking? Of course they're checking. You fucking idiot.
They are.
And like, there are people. Do you understand what these people go through? You fucking get a parking ticket and you lose your fucking mind. These people are trying to be executed in their fucking hometown.
Yeah.
Give them a break. See, that's our job as Canadians. Look at all the room we have. We could bring in fucking 1 million refugees and just send them to the cottage. They're all empty houses anyway. Just send them all to our cottages. See, we could save millions of lives.
Yeah. No, that's something that I understand as well. I mean, that is what Canada is based off of. Like, I mean, we grew as a country, as a country that takes in people who have a hard time or are struggling or are running from death or any sort of threat. That's what Canada has always done. They've taken them in. So I agree that if there's people that are in distress and there's a war or something, for sure, bring them in. I don't agree with what they're telling us. Is what I would like to know, is what they keep saying, these 2 Michaels. But who are they that you're putting your neck on the line against China, a superpower? Like you said, it's a superpower, and why would you want to upset them? So who are these 2 guys? Really, who are these 2 guys that you're so concerned that they're in jail in China? I think there's Canadians in jail across a lot of countries. That's what I was I'm trying to understand. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I think that's what's weird about this whole situation, is like everyone's kind of vaguely throwing out stuff, and it seems like nobody's really telling us why they're throwing out the propositions that they are. I don't know. It's a weird thing. And then a zombie apocalypse. Hey, man.
Yeah, let's lighten it up. Let's get back to that. I watched World War Z.
I've never seen it.
No way.
Is that good?
It's the Brad Pitt. Oh man, it's so good, and it's so like a Hollywood exaggeration of coronavirus. Except in the movie, if you can look, because now that we're living in this for a year, whatever, this was done in 2011 or 2013 or something like that. Coronavirus or COVID-19 in the movie, basically, if you can replace the zombies with COVID, like the people that become infected, just look at them like COVID to show you how fast it spread.
Right.
Because you see one guy get it, and then all of a sudden a whole plane full of people have it. Because the what causes zombieism in this movie, whatever, is a virus. Is a crazy virus.
That's airborne?
And that's actually, remember the joke I was making that I realized in watching the movie, that's where I probably stole the idea from, which I probably shouldn't admit to that so I don't get sued, but or be called a hack and a comedian stealing joke. But where I say I'm never going to get COVID because I smoke and drink, and most viruses are looking for a healthy host. I got that idea, I think, from in rewatching it. I got that because that's the whole premise that they come up with to sort of attack the problem, is by get everybody sick.
Right.
And that way, that virus will, which is basically what a vaccine is, right? You give everybody the disease in a dose that their body can create the antibodies for, and so the vaccine in this case was give everybody typhoid, and because the zombies are infected with a virus, and that virus looks for healthy hosts to spread their virus.
Fun for the whole family.
So if you're sick, like in the movie, there's a kid that clearly has cancer. Like they have shaved head, and they dress him up to look like a cancer patient.
Yeah.
And the zombies are just running by him. They're not even bothering to bite him because he's sick.
Yes.
The virus is looking only for healthy.
It's a good little premise. Yeah, that is a thing, that the virus needs a healthy. That's why viruses usually morph into less dangerous or life-threatening illnesses, because they don't really want to kill you. The virus needs you to stay alive. Yeah, it's kind of like your own body that kills you, because your own body is like so new to it that it's like, what is this? And it starts over fighting it, and your body kind of kills itself. I think that's what really happens. I feel like that's what I heard somewhere.
Well, in this zombie thing, it's 12 seconds. In the World War Z, it takes 12 seconds for that whole thing to go down.
Oh, really? So as soon as you get it, you're 12 seconds later, you're fucking a zombie?
Zombie.
I mean, that would be
And that's
good.
the other difference in World War Z. You know how all zombie movies, zombies, they're super slow, whatever. In this one, no, they become faster
They're nimble.
and stronger than humans because there's no
Quick
pain
on their
anymore. They're fucking sprinters. Yeah. They build a pyramid. Like they climb a wall in Jerusalem. They climb the fucking wall just by and climbing over each other. And finally, there's a fucking tower, a 40-foot tower of zombies of people.
Oh, wow.
Where humans, even if we coordinated, couldn't do that, right? Because people would get crushed and, you're hurting me. Somebody elbowed me in the eye. Well, zombies don't bitch. They fucking go.
Yeah, if we had a world of zombies, it'd be cancel culture wouldn't exist.
No.
What was the latest thing that
That
got
zombie
canceled?
bit me right on my titty.
Everyone's.
Anyway, yeah, World War Z. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. It's really, really,
I will
really,
watch it.
really good. I think. So there's some other room.
Sounds-
Okay, blue shirt. We talked
sounds
about
like
that. Check it off
good
the list.
fun for the whole family. The zombie apocalypse.
Reese's room. I watched the extended version of the Justice League, the Zack Snyder
I don't know what that is.
new edit of the Justice League movie.
No.
Oh no, you don't like superhero movies, eh?
Hate it.
This was the Superman, Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
Cyborg, Aquaman. It's the Justice League. Anyway, they put out a movie, but apparently Zack Snyder had stepped away from the editing of it because he had a family thing. Anyway, he came back and re-edited it the way in his own vision, and fucking movie's 4 hours and 2 minutes long. Recent, I watched it last night,
jeez.
and it is quite different. It's quite different from the original edit. Like there's a new good guy that we never saw before in the other movie. There's a new bad guy, which is the ultimate bad guy. Reese said. Reese is into the comic part, so he knew this guy called what the fuck's he called? Dark Lord or something like. Anyway,
Dark
he's like
Prince.
a really like the ultimate bad guy. He's like the Thanos in Marvel. Oh, you don't watch?
I
Anyway.
know what you're
4-hour
saying.
movie. We started at 11:30 at night. Let's see, 4-hour movie.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe you do that. I can't, dude. I can't do it. There's like so many.
And
I watched them. Actually, I should have wrote it down, man. Fuck, I can't even remember. There was one I watched not long ago. I'll talk about it the next time. I definitely watched one lately that I was like, that was like the longest time I've seen a movie that actually kept my interest. Oh, did you see Beach Bumps with Matthew McConaughey? Is it? Yeah, man.
No,
Oh,
No.
it's great.
Is it
It's
good?
great. Yeah, it's so great.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's great, man.
I gotta watch that.
It's really good.
I kept seeing adverts for it, but I never know good reviews, and it's not like
Oh,
I loved everything about it. The guy's living my exact perfect lifestyle in the trailer, so I'm like, fuck, I want
It's pretty great. I like it. I liked it a lot. I think it was a pretty good movie and funny. Like, it's just a funny character. He reminds me of, and I really wonder if they kind of got the inspiration of this guy. I don't know if you remember, but remember
From Sean Penn from Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
If you watch, if you remember at the Comedy
That's what it
Store,
made me
I don't
think of.
remember if you recognized or if you were there when there's like a guy, he always wears flat. He looks exactly the way Matthew McConaughey dresses and acts in this movie. He wears flashy clothes.
Oh, yeah?
He's got long hair, blonde hair. He's actually Canadian, from what I'm told. Jason Rouse told me this. I think he's Canadian. I think he's from Hamilton. Apparently was like like he's wealthy. Like his parents, I think, were both very wealthy. And I think they died when he was young, like a young adult. And I think he's got a ton of money now. So he's just this guy that hangs out in LA on the strip. And he just goes for between the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory, and I'm sure he goes to like bars around there. And he would just show up, like he would show up to the Comedy Store sometimes. He'd be on the patio, and he would just have like a bag of like chocolate bars, like full chocolate. Like you just go to the corner store and buy like 100 chocolate bars, and then he would just go to the Comedy Store, or you go to McDonald's and you buy like 50 hamburgers, and he'd have a big bag, and he would just walk around, and he'd just hand it out. And people would be like, "Oh, thanks, man. Thanks." I can't remember his name, but he was just like a character, and like just roamed the earth. Just didn't have a care in his like. Seemed like just a guy that didn't care, but apparently he did a lot. I think he used to own the comedy, the Laugh Factory at one point, or he owned a portion or something. Yeah, there was something there. Rouse is the perfect guy to ask. He knows all about this guy. Very cool. But I totally felt like the whole Matthew McConaughey character was inspired by this guy. Like he just has a ton of money.
Yeah, because he's got money, right? The Matthew McConaughey character's
got a
money.
ton of money, just roams, fucking gives people shit, spends all the money, doesn't even care. He's just giving it away to people. Super, like, it has to be. I don't know how they came up with this guy without it, unless
Jimmy Buffett. Sounds like Jimmy Buffett.
That's it. Unless there's multiple
Margaritaville guy.
unless there's multiple people that are like that in the world that I don't know about that are dressed.
Yeah, that's how I would love to be. I would love to be.
Well, you kind of
nobody fucking hassling.
Well,
me.
remember, like you're like that with the during Just for Laughs. I remember every year at like 4 a.m. when everybody's stumbling out of the parties and Derek's got a box of fucking hot dogs from the Casse-Croûte and you're just walking around
La Belle Province.
from the Belle Province, walking downtown on St. Catherine Street at 4 a.m. and everyone's hungover and fucking coming out and you're just handing everyone hey man, hot dog man, you want some hot dogs? You've kind of got that in you. If you won a ridiculous amount of money that you never had to worry about again, you would probably be that guy. You would just walk around.
I would do fun
for
stuff.
Sure.
It's so easy to do nice things like that, but then again, like it'll bite you in the ass. Like if you let the world discourage you, that the secret to being a character like that is that don't let the world discourage you. Like because I would do that, and then I'd walk up to somebody that was homeless and like sitting there. They've hidden their shoes to look more pathetic. And they've got their dog there, and like, please, a little bit of change. I'm so hungry. I'm like, well, you're in luck. Here's a hot dog. Is there relish on this?
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
no, there's no relish. Oh, I really like relish, so fucking no thanks. I don't want a hot dog.
Yeah.
Fuck you, see, you're not hungry. You just want drugs.
Yeah.
Be honest. I'm a fucking drug user. I would.
There's.
It's just shit like that turns you off.
It does turn you off. I know what you're saying because that happened the same thing. I was on the beach in LA and some guy came up to us and we're all hanging out and he was like, and he's like, oh man, you guys have any food, man? I'm hungry. And I'm like, all right, man, we had snacks. All we had was like muffins and chips and shit. Everyone brought snacks. I gave him a plate of stuff, man. I'm like, here, man. He's like, oh, you don't have any meat? I'm like, no, there was no meat. I mean, this is all we got. And he was like, oh, it's all right, man. And he just walked away. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was trying to be nice to you. I'm trying to give you something. You're saying you have no food? Yeah. But there are guys like that. They just want the
down. It's still
no. There's just guys that want the
still
drugs.
Worth it to be nice. Like yesterday, I was at the grocery store. The kids had been bugging me for like 4 days. Go to the grocery store, and then I made the mistake of going hungry. And we were out of a lot of like staples, so I was just like, you don't hesitate at that point. Anyway, $500. I mean, there's cigarettes and beer in there too, but $500 at the grocery store. And
it's
there
pricey.
Was this lady standing there, and she seemed to be waiting for me to be finished to ask somebody. This older, really quite elderly lady, and then my cashier that was doing my shit, which was a pu finir, right? Like people kept coming behind me and then be like, "What the fuck?" And then they just left. They went to another cash. Because it was debording, my basket. I couldn't even get all the grocery back in the basket when I was bagged. I had to carry 2 bags because it was so full. The underneath was jammed, everything. Anyway, this lady, the cashier that was doing my thing was kind of rude and was like, oh, allez demander là-bas la courtoisie, whatever. And all she wanted, and I'm kind of listening. I'm furiously trying to hurry because, you get embarrassed when you're holding up the whole line, right? I'm trying to bag my shit and put it in the basket, get it out of the way so the stupid cashier can move more shit. And she was kind of rude to this older lady. So I'm like, oh, man, what did she want? I said, what did she want? And she's like, je sais pas, si elle voulait un prix. She wanted the price of these. She had 4 bags of oranges. That's all she had was 4 bags of oranges. And then, but I kind of heard her say something about the porte-monnaie, like she forgot her wallet or something. And I think she was going to ask to do IOU or something. I don't know. She had to be 80 years old, this lady. So now I'm fucking kind of annoyed with the cashier. And she wasn't mean, but she was like just trying to get efficient for me and the people waiting behind me.
Trying to get her out.
So I said, okay, I bagged really quick and I put a thing. So now she has area to push more of my grocery. And I just went over to the lady. Now she's an 80-year-old woman wearing a mask. At first, I didn't even know what language she was speaking because she's speaking so faint. Like I've said before, I can't understand when fucking people are wearing a mask. And so I'm just like, Madame, Est-ce que c'est juste le prix? Like, are you just looking for the price of the oranges? She's like, oui, parce que j'ai juste du change, j'ai oublié mon porte-monnaie. Obviously, I think it was like she has a limited amount of money, and I don't know if she's gonna live on these oranges. I hate to think that she has to live on oranges, but I'm like, she's like, oui, parce que je veux savoir combien, and when I'm like, okay, ben, je sais que je suis très long. I know I'm taking way too much time. Let me just buy your oranges for the fact that I'm making you wait. And then something else through I didn't understand. I'm like, no, it's my pleasure. I'll bring them right back to you. I'll tell you in a sec. So I just go and I'm like, here, pass 4 of these on my grocery bill. And then I just went back. C'est correct, madame, they're paid. You could just leave now with the oranges. And then of course it's like, oh, thank you. What's your name? And I'm like, Derek. She's like, I've never heard that name before. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Now it's, do you
I
have
gotta
any
get
money?
back to this. Yeah. Do you need a ride home? Like,
what do you need?
See, and then I still don't understand what she's saying, and I kind of want to go, and I'm embarrassed too. Like, I don't. Like, I'm even the fact that I'm telling you this, I feel like, oh, Derek, is that why you did a nice beat so that you could fucking say it on the podcast?
But what happened? Did she want more? What did she do?
I couldn't understand what she was saying, so I was assuming that she was saying thank you. So I'm like, Madame, ça me fait plaisir, c'est rien, and to get home safe.
And meanwhile, she was like, can I have your Range Rover?
She didn't see my car. She doesn't see my car. Although when I got to the funny thing, you mentioned that when I got to the grocery store, I'm all in grocery mode. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy because we need so much shit. I get out of the car and there's a guy walking by. He's like, hey, buddy. I'm like, hey, thinking it's somebody I know because I'm in my neighborhood. And he's like, hey, buddy. I'm like, yeah, hey. He's like, no, hey, nice truck. Oh, thanks.
That's it?
Yeah. And then I kind of felt like, all right, that fucking 16 grand I put into this piece of shit over the last 2 years, it's all worth it for the one guy recognizing that I have a cool truck.
That's hilarious. That's funny. That's funny, man. Fuck, I spent $4,000 and
speaking of car trouble,
you got ripped off.
Yes. yeah, I should really. That's what I'm gonna get, personalized license plate that says compliment me, Carl. Yes. Tell me my truck is nice.
Dude, you got haggled hard in LA though. You see, this is the thing, is like, it's good to be nice, but you also have to like understand when people are fucking you over. But remember in LA on Venice Beach,
I do understand, and it's fine.
You remember how you got torn apart in Venice Beach? Like a fucking crowd of seagulls just ran after you and took everything.
Dude, yeah, I have a whole collection of CDs now. I have a bunch of fucking CDs with Sharpie written on them. Some of them don't even have anything on them.
I think we said this before on the podcast. We talked about it, how you got ripped off there. How Derek, if no one ever heard it, Derek, we were in Venice Beach going for a walk, and there's a lot of guys that sell their CDs on the beach. They come up to you and go, hey, man, you want to buy my CD? And then they go, check it out, man. I got headphones. You can listen to it. So they put on your head, and then you're like, yeah, I like this. And the guy's there, and you're trying to be nice. So you're like, all right, man, how much? And he goes, $10. And you're like, all right. You pull out $10, and fucking here comes 10 other guys fucking, yo, man, buy my CD. And Derek's got a stack of American money that he just came down with. You were only there for like a day. Dude, I think $100 just disappeared out of your stack of money just like that, and then you're left with a stack of shitty copied CDs. Oh man!
Luckily, they're easy to carry.
They tore you
coasters.
apart.
I have really
good coasters.
Really good coaster set.
That's hilarious, man. Those are fun times. Good times out in LA.
Speaking of car trouble, though, yesterday I was actually trying to, because the Camry. We have 4 cars. The Camry's been blocked in. Jamie's usually parked behind it, so you should take your car out and drive it, whatever. Yeah. So I guess I haven't driven it in a month. There's a brand new battery in it.
Okay.
But it hasn't been started in a month, and I went to start it and dead. It's fucking dead, dead. I went to take it to the grocery store. Then I always kept charger cables in the trunk of the Camry because it had a battery issue. Now it's a brand new battery. Go to look, it's fucking, the cables are gone. Reese had taken the fucking cables, and he's now at work. I can't even boost the Camry because it would have been great. Go to the grocery store, leave it running while I'm in the grocery store, drive around a little bit, and then, it'd be back charged up. So now the Camry's dead in the driveway right now. Hopefully I didn't kill my brand new battery. It's brand new. It's had 1 trip since I replaced the battery, and now it's dead. Well, and I'm wondering now, maybe you could tell me as a mechanic, Have you ever heard the trick where, when you get the acid coming out of the battery, you get that verdigris, whatever, the
Coming out of
green,
the
white
terminals,
shit
like at the top on the post?
out of the positive terminal? Yeah. Somebody told me that if you put a penny, you kind of clamp a penny onto the positive, it stops that from happening. The copper somehow minimizes it. I'm worried that now the copper from the penny has been pulling juice or something from it.
No, it shouldn't, but I wouldn't put a penny. What I would do is you could use...
A pishnut?
No, don't put a pishnut. Whatever you do not connect the two terminals together. But what I would do is a good thing to do is like if you do have the gunk all over your posts, WD-40 is a great, it'll eat the shit out of it. So you just spray a little bit on it, and it's just going to eat it away. Take a little brush, scrub it off.
Like I said, this is a brand new battery.
Okay, so now I'm going to tell you how to prevent it from getting corroded like that. Get dielectric grease. They sell dielectric grease, small tube, get it at the mechanics store or Canadian Tire, get some dielectric grease, rub it all around the terminal, put it all over your clamps that you're going to put onto the battery, and just cover it in that, and it'll keep it.
Is that the brake stuff, the silver stuff?
It looks like the brake lubricant. It comes in the same type of tube. But it's not the same. No, because I don't know if it. I mean, I'm sure it'd probably still work if you covered it with that brake lube stuff, and then if it's a clear. You're talking about the clear lube, not the
the silver stuff.
No, don't fucking put that. No, that's gonna lose. You won't have a good contact. What you want is metal on metal. You need that contact to be clean. Right. Dielectric grease is grease that allows the current to travel through it.
Current to go through.
Yeah, so you put some dielectric grease, it's going to cover it. It'll keep it nice and sealed, and it won't get corrosion all around it and stuff like it does if you just leave it like that. But if you do have a lot on it, it could screw up your battery's connection, like the corrosion stuff starting to build up. So take some WD-40, spray it on there, and take a little brush out. Let it sit.
Well, this one had...
And then take water and pour tons of water to get it to come off your battery. Make sure you don't spray the water in your air intake.
It had none. Somebody told me the penny would prevent it from happening.
It could. I guess it might be a scientific thing. You can probably look it up. Maybe it's because the copper might neutralize.
Because of the nickel content of the penny.
Yeah, it might neutralize.
Nickel, iodine, whatever.
Yeah, so it doesn't.
What is it called? Nickel. What are batteries called? They're called nickel. Ion.
Cadian, nickel, something. I don't know. I can't. I know what you're saying though. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. There's. Anyway. It's probably a chemical reaction or something that the penny does.
So the Camry's dead in the water. That's the whole story.
Man,
it sucks.
But I would charge it up, and if you do have a problem and it's a brand new battery, you got a warranty on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's my fault. But anyway,
they don't need to know that, Derek Sege.
No, I know.
You show up.
Don't worry, I know how to play that game.
You just show up. I don't know what happened. The battery just stopped working. It's brand new.
Yeah.
Especially if you act furious. Those people that act.
I shared my my pressure washer story with you.
Oh wait, did you get it fixed? I know the pressure washer had
I fixed it myself.
Okay, I feel like we shared. Yes.
By going to get a new pressure washer.
Oh, and you changed the part.
And this switched
oh,
the
you
box.
sly little bastard.
I kept the part that was,
You sly.
But it was brand new, right? I did it like the next day, so there can't be I'm like, it's broken. It's pissing water everywhere. But what had happened is I left it in the cabanon all winter without flushing the hoses, so it froze. It froze and broke one of the plumbing
connectors
or whatever.
Yeah, I would have just. I told you, there's a great place in Quebec, Hebdraulic. Which is not a sponsor, but if you'd like to sponsor this podcast, reach out to
Princess Auto too.
Seguinbud@gmail.com.
Renault Depot, Chris. I couldn't have. I've been talking about Renault Depot like crazy. You guys should sponsor this podcast.
But
you should actually sponsor my all new HGTV show, Lowe's, which is the holding company for Lowe's, Renault Depot, and Rona. Feel free to sponsor us and the all-new Derek Seguin hosted HGTV home renovation DIY comedy extravaganza.
You should call your TV show "How to Spend 3 Times More Than IKEA," than buying it at IKEA.
Shut up. No, it's got to have a cachet of saving money. It's got to.
How to lumber.
I'm anxious for you to come see. You're gonna see it, and you're gonna be like, "There's no way you could ever hire somebody to get this done for 20.
Oh no, dude, you don't got to tell me. I know
his,
building it yourself is much better.
His closet is all custom now. He's got a tower of a shoe rack tower that was in a wasted space.
Yeah. All of that would have
got
costed you $2,000 at IKEA, because you're talking just the bed is one price. Then you got a shoe rack. Then you got another like a headboard, and you got another like closet kind of thing, like where he keeps his clothes. I saw it in the baskets or whatever. You got those shelves.
Yeah, shelves that I built out of the wooden boxes that I put shelves in the middle of them, and then I strapped them to the wall.
That's it. So all those things would cost. Yeah, it adds up when you go to IKEA. It's good to build your own stuff, but just don't go crazy, especially now when lumber costs a small fortune. Just try to keep it.
And I overbought lumber because I forget there was something extra I was gonna do that I ended up not doing. Oh, I was gonna build all drawers underneath the desk, but I made an L-shaped desk, so there's nowhere really for the drawers to go. So I have like extra 5 or 6 2x4s and 5 or 6 2x3s.
Yeah. No, I think it's great, man. I think it's good that people, you're showing people that they can do stuff on their own. I think it's a great idea. People should try and build more and do things on their own, especially now with what's going on. I mean, I'm sure if you tried to call a plumber right now today, it'd probably take like a few days before they could even show up. It's like everything is so behind with what's going on with COVID, and housing market is booming, so they're booked up already. And I think it's a time that people are going to have to learn how to do their own shit. Otherwise, you're going to spend a fortune because inflation is coming.
Yeah, like the show that I would be looking to do would be for people that, to this point in their life, have always just were intimidated by the project. Like if it's electricity or plumbing, they're like, "Oublie ça, I don't know how to do that. Forget it." It's to show people that it's not rocket science. It's if you're careful and you follow some steps, like for Reese's room, for instance, there's another part of the budget was he had a heater under his window, which is the best place to put a heater. But his room is so small that I need the bed right up against that, underneath the window. And so the bed is so massive and full that it would have just covered the heater. Even though that is the best place for it, I had to move it. So I moved it about 15 feet from under the window and then around, and now it's on a wall that have nothing. The one wall that have nothing on it, and the heater's there now. And I bought a more efficient heater. So this heater was from 1976. I've now bought a more energy efficient, smaller wattage heater, and it's white instead of that shitty taupe beige brown color that all those things are. And I just moved it. I made a junction box, took electrical wire, the proper ampage though. But so in the show, you tell people, listen,
how to do it too.
It's not rocket science, but you do it. It's electricity, so you have to be careful. You shut the breaker. If you can't figure out which breaker controls your heater, shut the power down of the whole house. Because it's going to take you 15 minutes to make this junction. You make the junction box, make it accessible, because because you're making a junction, you want it to be accessible in case something was to happen. Close the junction box, and then I ran the cable, the wire. I didn't break the wall. I just tucked it underneath the drywall, and then put a finition there, the baseboard molding, to cover up the wire. Because it's stuffed in there. Okay,
so you didn't drill. You didn't didn't drill through the 2x4s or anything like your framing to run your wire. You just kind of tucked it behind the G-Brock and then squeezed your G-Brock up against it.
No, it's underneath. So like you've got your wall frame.
Oh, because you have slats on your framing.
No, it's right at the bottom. It's all along the floor. So when you put your sheet of gyprock, right? And you nail it at the bottom into your 2x4 and on the top, and then all the way up the studs. Well, you're left with like this much, right? So they leave room to put the floor and to put carpet or whatever.
But I don't know if that's up to code.
So I just tucked it in there. It's probably not.
Didn't you say the people told you that you have to have it above a certain level in case of water flood or something? It doesn't your wires.
But I'm on the top floor. If I was on the ground,
I know what you mean. But I think it's still. I wouldn't run it directly on the floor. I'd at least have it a couple inches off the ground.
Ask any electrician if there's a problem.
Yeah, I wonder. No,
see, that's the thing.
I know it works.
It's the people that are following a code just based on the fact that it's the code. If you look, the code is there for a reason. So and that's the reason that you want it 9 inches off the ground. It's for
Right.
water, like you said. Well, if water gets up to the floor of
Yeah, we
Reese's
got a
room,
problem.
it will have
Yeah.
gone over the 9 inches
Yeah.
of 40 plugs lower in the house. Like I have the basement, and then I have the piano level, and then I have the
Yeah.
dining room, kitchen, living room level, and then it's Reese's. So there's all the
Yeah.
plugs from the kitchen down would have been flooded already.
Yeah.
So by the time it get up there, that's
I
really
know
not a
theoretically or practically it doesn't matter to some extent, but the chances I guess are insanely slim. But that is the thing with like a lot of things that are code. Like you look at it and you're like, well, that's just because there's probably someone that did it so bad that they were like, we need a universal, safe way to do this, and we'll just follow that. Nobody fuck around because some guy was like, well,
Okay,
hey,
so again, that's not the code, but I also replaced the thermostat. Like I had the
Right.
old dial thermostat, so I put a digital thermostat. So even just to show them that, people would not venture to
Right.
do that. And I'm like,
And
this
it ain't
show
hard.
would be able to teach you. Yeah, the thermostat cost me $27, and here's how you do it. If you were to hire somebody to do it, it would be $150. It's your decision. A buffon like me can do it, and look, it took me 20 minutes. You're done, and then you
Yeah.
decide. You know?
Yeah, no, I think
So
it's
that's-
great.
that's
I think
what the
it's
show
good to
is.
show
It's to-
people that you can do stuff. I think, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Maybe post.
And some projects I will do, and at the end of the show, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally calling
Yeah,
somebody.
exactly.
Look at what he did, fucking that." He flushes his toilet and his fucking piano starts to play. That's fucked
Yeah.
up.
Well, that's good, man. As long as you're keeping busy and you're coming up with a project, and hopefully someone picks it up, we get you a pitch. But it's a great idea. I think it's
try.
good to just keep doing it and keep doing your thing. It's entertaining. People like it, so keep doing it. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm
Pick
putting
something
together
smaller
some
next.
footage. It's
Are you gonna do?
I'm doing my whole bathroom next,
God.
so that's gonna be big.
That's a big
big.
job. But yeah,
Probably start that in about a month. In about a month, I'll start that. I want to wait till the weather's nice enough that we can start parking the cars on the street, because I'm going to get a container in the driveway to put all
Right.
the. I'm gutting
Okay.
the bathroom. There's mold in there. I'm gutting the whole thing, taking the ceiling out. And then when I do that, when I take the ceiling and when I take all the walls and the ceiling out of the bathroom, I'm going to finally. I've never been in the attic on that side of
really?
the house, because my house has two
Okay.
attics. I've never been in the attic above the bedrooms and all
Yeah.
that. So when I was doing Reese's room, I wanted to give him a new light fixture. There was no light fixture on the
Okay.
ceiling, like that's connected to the
Yeah.
switch. So I built them, like I just bought a wire and that you plug, and then I have like a industrial looking light. It fits good with his room.
Okay.
But when I get the ceiling off in the bathroom, that'll give me access to the attic. So I'm gonna crawl over there, try to pull an electricity onto
Right.
his ceiling, and then I'll cut and I'll make him an actual fixture
wow, cool, man.
in the thing, and put a new fan. And anyway, yeah. So the bathroom will be a big job. But if Reese's bedroom took me a month, this is
It's,
gonna take me
yeah.
a year. Feel free to extend COVID well into
Look,
2022, because I'm gonna
this
be
might
doing my bathroom.
this
for
might
a
work
year.
out for you, buddy. This might be good stuff. If you keep constantly having your house under construction, your kids might get
Yeah.
so annoyed that they might
Yeah.
try to move out. I think
Yeah.
if you just keep the place a fucking construction zone, this is what the city of Montreal's been doing forever. You keep the place a construction zone, nobody's gonna want to fucking live there.
Yeah.
So
That's that was one of the ploys, the tactic I was using when they were complaining about no groceries. I'm like, I'm gonna wait a few days to buy
Yeah.
groceries and see if they see if they will ever buy something on their own. They're like, no. They're like really biting the bullets, like the suffrage that they. Oh man, I have to eat Lucky Charms today instead of mini wheats.
those kids can fuck.
And then we ran out of milk. We were out of milk for like 24 hours, and they're like, "There's nothing to eat in this house." I'm like, "There's actually a batch of chili. I have to warm that up. Fuck that." Just letting them go a few days, but none of them. Like we've talked about this before. How my tolerance for messy and say dirty is much higher than Angela's, right? So she ends up cleaning, and I'm like, "Well, you're
Right.
free." Turns out my kids' tolerance for running out of shit is higher than mine.
Fucking right, man. Those kids.
We were running out of stuff that they love, and still not one of them. Like I have 2 kids with driver's license and credit cards. They could have gone to the grocery store and bought a couple pints of milk and some eggs, but no, they're like, no, I will scrape to get Kraft dinner. There's still Kraft dinner, and we could replace the milk with fucking
now you know how low
apple
they
juice.
can go. You know how long they can go without like living. So just don't make it luxurious. Just go, hey man, Kraft dinner again.
That's what I need to do too, because see, there's so much food in the house. Like they're never, like I don't know if I do.
No,
that,
we
I
can't see anything.
the
Yeah,
screen still. There's all store. I have a fridge here, a freezer here, and then a whole pantry of food here. Like there's cereal.
They're
everything.
good with
There's
Kraft dinner, but Dad is getting some nice
frozen
steaks.
pizzas. We didn't run out of food at all, but they're bitches. Anyway, but I have all this food. I think what I'm gonna do is move it out of here and put it in my bedroom and keep a lock on my bedroom. All the extra food, all the good food, all the chips, all the cereal, all the good shit will be in my room. So they're like, when they say we're out of food, I'm like, no, you're out of food. I've got a whole fucking. I've got a whole.
We are not out of anything. You're
smorgasbord in my room. Then all of a sudden, like. Kids turn into professional lock pickers.
Oh man, you should do that. But then we should pick one episode for your Children Appreciation Day because you pick on them so much. We should have a Child Appreciation Day on this podcast. But you wait till they're fucking starving before you give them that.
No, they're good.
Oh
kids.
man! All right, buddy, that was a good. We had a good chat. Good hour and a bit.
I'm anxious for you to come and see. I'm anxious for you to be able to come over and see my
man.
handiwork.
Yeah, soon. Well, especially when it gets nicer out, man. I'll pop in for sure, and we'll get together. We'll try and do. We'll hang out in the backyard.
Did your folks get the first dose?
They
of
got
the
the
vaccine.
vaccine. They got the vaccine. Yeah,
Good.
they got it.
Both doses or just
the
one?
first dose. So
Okay,
yeah, we'll
good.
see. We'll see how everything turns out. But yeah, it's definitely. And your mom, did she get it?
She got the
Good
first one. Yeah.
stuff.
And Angie's parents
Good
too got
stuff.
the first one. Angie's parents, their second dose is in June.
Yeah, it's 4 months. That's what they did
with
with my folks too. They gave them a 4. It's supposed to be 3, but the Quebec government's pushing it to 4 months. I don't know how this makes sense, but yeah, that's what they're doing. The good old Quebec government. Anyways, buddy, good chatting.
Hope for the best.
We'll talk. Let's do this
man.
next week.
Panderic 9 next Friday, March 26th at 9 p.m. Go to dereksegan.com/Panderic. And the 9th installment, it'll be a 1-year anniversary since the first Panderic online comedy
Wow, who would
extravaganza.
have thought? All right, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, take care,
Cheers.
man. See you soon.